Hello everyone and welcome to another very short yet very impressive game from the Tech Mahindra Global Chess League. It is Viswanathan Anand versus Alireza Firouzja, and Anand, not having the greatest tournament so far, does have the white pieces and he wants to retaliate. He did lose a game where Alireza had the white pieces, and as we've said in the previous video, Alireza seems to be unbeatable, but Hikaru was able to take him down. Now, can Anand do the same with white? Let's see what happened in this one. Anand with white opens with pawn to e4, and as you guys you guys mentioned that you like it when I talk about their head-to-head score before a game. They haven't really played all that much. They played only one classical game, which was won by Anand in the Tata Steel 2022, and the previous rapid games they've played, Alireza defeated Anand 3-1 with 2 draws. So not a lot of games, but yeah, Alireza seems to be the favorite in rapid, and Anand has the one winning classical. But whatever anyone had against Alireza at some point, this is now a completely different Alireza, and now it's time to beat him again. So let's see what happens. e4, we have pawn to c6, d4, and pawn to d6. This is very rare. Usually you will see a pawn to d5 here, but d6 is very rare. Knight to c3, we have queen to c7, and pawn to f4. We have pawn to e5, and now knight to f3. So basically from a Caro-Kann to some sort of a Pir's defense setup, we have knight to d7, bishop to d3, and knight g to f6. We have castles, and okay, there are a couple of games that reach this position. g6 is a known move. Here we have bishop to e7 by Alireza, and it is not as of move 7 that we have a completely new game. So okay, king to h1 by Anand always makes sense to get the king off of this diagonal when you have the queen and dark square bishop in the game. We have castles, and now queen to e1, preparing to lift the queen via the g3 or h4 squares and attack the black king. E captures on d4, knight captures on d4, and rook to e8, freeing up the f8 square for the bishop and putting pressure on that e4 pawn. Queen to g3 and bishop to f8. We have bishop to d2. Anand prepares to bring the other rook into the game, also connects the rooks, and pawn to g6. Now, the engine not really a fan of pawn to g6, as Anand should really attack the black king right away with pawn to f5 or prepare with queen h4 and pawn to f5. Anand decides to wait, plays knight back to f3, bishop to g7, and now rook a to e1. We have pawn to b5 and pawn to a3, stopping b4. So pawn to a5, preparing b4, and queen to h4. And as Anand allowed it, Alireza goes pawn to b4. A captures, attacking the knight, knight to d1, and now bishop to a6, going after the bishop here, but also preparing a very interesting idea. Why is Alireza giving up the b4 pawn? Well, the trick is, if Anand captures on b4, Alireza was planning on capturing on e4. And even though, yes, this is defended twice, the rook on f1 would hang at the end of this line. So what you would have to do is capture the bishop on a6, and then after rook captures on a6, play something like knight to g5, and then the other knight comes to f6 to defend on h7. And okay, the game continues, equal material, should be a fun game. But Anand decided against capturing on b4, played bishop captures on a6 right away, rook captures on a6, and now Anand strikes with pawn to e5. And it's a very interesting decision, as that square is defended 4 times. Sorry about the weird arrow. So let's see what he had in mind. We have d captures on e5, f captures on e5, and knight captures on e5. We have knight captures on e5, also rook captures can be played. Knight captures, rook captures, and queen captures on e5, and now queen captures on b4. So this was his idea, giving up the e5 for the b4 pawns, and now Anand has a 2-1 advantage on the queen side. And if he can start pushing, let's say play b4, c4, b5, he will create a pass pawn, and Alireza could be in trouble. But Alireza has the first move, and he starts with rook to a1. Now, how do you defend this? The problem is if you play something like knight to e3, then rook captures on f1 check, let's say knight captures, and the queen comes to e2, very annoying. The knight is hanging, also the bishop could be in trouble at some point if the knight also comes into the game. So, well, not losing on the spot will be very hard to defend. So instead, after rook to a1, rook to e1, the absolute best move played by Anand, and now comes queen to h5, putting pressure on the knight now twice, and Anand has two ways of dealing with this. One is to play knight to c3, the other one is to play knight to f2, or maybe e3. And c3 is the best because, well, I'll show you why. Knight to f2 was played, and now Alireza just played rook captures on e1, bishop captures on e1, and queen to e2. This was the problematic square that Anand had to worry about, and that's why if the knight was on c3, would be defending the d1 and the e2 squares. And while still maybe possible to defend, Anand has to play the very weird looking pawn to h3. Because, okay, you free up the h2 square for the king, you don't have to worry about queen to f1 checkmate. However, after queen to e2, knight to h3 was played by Anand, and now Alireza is completely winning, but you have to find the correct idea. Have at it while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on finding this miraculous move. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is queen to, I'm only kidding. Although this is fine, bishop to f8 is the more precise way of doing things. And that is what Alireza played. And now there's really nothing to do. The queen has to remain on this diagonal to keep defending the bishop on e1. But then you have other problems like queen to f1 and, well, I don't have to tell you what comes next. And if you just keep the queen on this diagonal by playing queen to a5, then, okay, the knight comes into the game, and then after, let's say, knight to g1, you're going to lose the c2 pawn, you're going to lose the b2 pawn next, and you're just going to be down 2 pawns and lose the game this way. So Anand decided, all right, let's keep the material. If we can survive the attack, maybe we can still hang on. He played queen to d2, offered the queen trade, but now Alireza just played the queen to f1 with check, only move knight to g1, and he finishes it off nicely with bishop to c5. The knight is falling next, and there is no way to defend checkmate here unless you want to play a weird move like queen to f2, but yeah, you're getting checkmated. So yeah, brilliant stuff by Alireza. Anand played very, very nicely, but yeah, he gave him one opportunity, and that was enough for Alireza. And even with that one loss against Hikaru, Alireza is still playing with a 3,000 rating performance. This is... well, these are his opponents. You can see, okay, he started with a draw against Anish, then he beat Magnus with black, beat Anand with white, beat Hikaru with black, beat MVL with white and black, then lost that one game to Hikaru and now beat Anand, and he has a rating performance of 3,000. So incredibly impressive. We'll see what happens next, but yeah, I mean, he's just crushing everyone, and you've seen that game against Hikaru. I mean, it's not like he got just obliterated. Who I have no idea how he lost that endgame, but yeah, I mean, Hikaru really, tricked him, played with his mind, and yeah, he still has some holes to fill there. But yeah, other than that, Alireza is just crushing everyone. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank a friendly Weasel, Bubble Smogi, Tigran Shanazarian, Chess King 22, and welcome Atlas Wilton Jenk Ingram for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.